ambulance service. Is the patient breathing?
My name's Kim, I'm on the ambulance crew, all right?
This is the Scottish Ambulance Service.
We genuinely get to make a difference in people's lives.
The job literally is life and death.
No needles or anything on them, though. There's nothing I would rather do than this.
Serving every one of us.
It's okay, love. It's all right, don't worry.
From Scotland's busiest cities to its wide open countryside. Wherever we have fallen, whatever has happened to us.
Need a hug?
Just feels she's gonna die.
But this is a service under extreme pressure.
We're constantly apologising to people.
Yeah, it's very busy down here.
Which we rely on like never before.
We're 2 shifts down in Edinburgh and 3 in the Borders.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
On the front line and at the other end of the line.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Scotland's paramedics keep Scotland safe
Breathe the gas!
and alive.
Help is coming, they're coming as fast as they can.
This time,
Hi, Nevada. We've been in ambulance for 2.5 hours, nearly 3 hours.
a patient and crew face a long wait outside A&E.
9 ambulances, and they can't give me a time. It could be another few hours.
Okay, tell me exactly what's happened.
Call handlers must deal with an urgent delivery.
I just want you to reach down, okay, and just have a feel again and just see if you can feel any part of the baby. But if you need to push, just push, okay?
And the special operations team investigate the release of a potentially dangerous chemical.
Unknown substance, so we've got the DIM from the fire service here to come and analyse if there has been anything.
Dunfermline, home to a very busy ambulance station. Crews here attend patients across the east of Scotland, from tiny mining villages to busy modern towns. As with other regions in Scotland, the pressure on the service post-COVID is acute.
This is a police call for a 66-year-old male who has got severe cramps and abdominal pain as the patient is not going about his duties, whatever that means. There was a call made to the police by concerned neighbours that this chap hasn't been seen for quite a few days. Now, there's 2 ways that it can be. Is the patient deceased or is he really seriously ill? You can't really judge that till you get there. No, the nurse is 10 to 3.
The nurse is 10 to 3.
Davy and Eileen are veterans, having jointly racked up 65 years of service.
I enjoy working with the public, no matter what the situation. It could be the hardest time of their life, and be able to either help them or give them a shoulder to cry on or just to listen.
The pair have built a good working relationship.
We bounce off each other well.
And it is very good, actually, because there are times when I'll say, in a critical situation, we have to go now. And if I do that, then Eileen knows this is what you're looking for. Then she's quite good at going to Costa's and buying me coffee. Right.
Well, you've been working with him for 12 hours, you need a coffee.
Need a large gin. Hello. What's happening to you, Paul?
What's your name, honey?
George.
George.
George. So this pain...
George is complaining of a sore abdomen.
Is it just in your tummy round here?
Yes, sir. Well, it's more a discomfort than an actual pain.
Aye.
Just going to put this in your ear, honey.
And how's your bowels been moving? Have you been to the toilet every day? Or?
Well, Monday's the last time I actually did something, I think.
Right. And you been to see your GP or anything about it?
No, I've got the last couple of nights I've took Seneca.
Right.
Hoping they would get rid of it, but
It's no.
not so far, no.
So you're normally keeping quite good, decent health?
Yes,
That's it. You eating and drinking okay, Paul?
Oh, yeah. Do you live here on your own, George?
yes, Dad.
Yeah. Do you cook and wash for yourself?
Yes, Dad. I get Wiltshire Farms food delivered.
He'd obviously not been capable of caring for himself properly. The house was in disarray. And he looked exhausted. He just looked like he'd given up.
I don't think this warrants you going to hospital, George.
Thank goodness for that.
I'll go and make a couple of phone calls, all right?
So you're normally quite independent then?
Yes, sir.
Up until this, you've been quite independent.
What's I say, I'm used to it in and out every day.
Uh-huh.
Because similarly, it was the copy I go to the phone, the police with them, what had happened to me.
They were concerned because he'd not been in for 2 days and he always went there for breakfast. It was nice that the community had noticed him, noticed he hadn't turned up. Do you mind if I just have a look at your fridge? Yeah? Is that in date? Yeah, 5th of July. So you've got milk. 9th of July. Oh, jeez. I can't see tea bags. George, have you got tea bags?
They're in that cupboard next to the...
Right, you've got them though, yeah? Right, okay, so you've got milk in there that's in date. All right, and you've got tea bags. Went in the kitchen just to check. And there was a couple of bits and pieces in the fridge and he had tea bags. So he had some stuff, but it was bare minimum. George, can I just have a look at that foot of yours, that leg? Are you saying this has always been like that? Is it always so hard? Oh, George. Oh, dear. Okay, stay there a minute. He'd had sores come up on his legs, and then where they'd weeped and then healed and soaked into his socks. His socks were ingrown into his ankles. He was saying he wasn't in pain, but his legs looked very angry and very sore.
How long have they been like this?
Well, that was quite a few years ago now, I think.
Aye. And nobody's ever picked this up before? No, obviously. When was the last time you seen your GP?
That's it, before COVID.
All right, so you're looking at a good couple of years anyway.
I'm going to be honest with you. Where this is cut so far deep into your leg, it's actually in your sock, is growing around, your skin's growing around the sock. When was the last time you took these off? Can you remember?
No.
No. So, you're going to have to go into hospital.
Oh, no.
The injury is serious enough for Davy to check in with a consultant in A&E.
Hello. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, they'll get your feet sorted. They'll get you back on your feet. Get you cleaned up. We can get all this sorted.
No, I'm not going to do so.
Why don't you want to go? What's wrong? What's bothering you about the hospital, George?
It's the last time I went to it was my mum and she never come out.
And how old was your mum?
Good 93.
Oh, so she had good innings then. A bloody good innings, didn't she?
No, surely that's something you could stop me.
No, George, because you know what? Your leg's infected. This is why you're feeling so bad. But George, believe me, listen to me. They won't keep you in any longer than what they have to because they're so busy. You need to get this sorted though, George. Listen, it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. And then you'll end up stuck in the house full stop. And you're saying the cafe rang the police because they were worried about you, they've not seen you. So maybe you've been in the house longer than what you think. How about we go in, get this looked at, let the doctor talk to you, and make a decision from there, okay?
I'm not what to stay indoors.
No, but that's what I'm saying, no, but we'll take you in, speak to the doctor, they'll be able to tell you more about this than what we can. All right? And the same with your belly and the same with the rash on your arm. Get it all done at once. Yeah?
Right.
Yeah, good man. You're a good man. Right, shall we put your coat on? All right?
At the ambulance control centre in South Queensferry, Sarah is taking an unusual but very important call.
And is this your first delivery, just to confirm?
A pregnant woman is in advanced labour at home.
And do you have any high-risk complications? No? Okay.
This call is coded as a red call by the call handler, based on the information provided.
Now I'm organising help for you now. If you just stay on the line, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do next, okay? Now, don't try to prevent the birth. Don't sit on the toilet and just assume the most comfortable position and just take deep breaths in between the contractions, okay?
Until the paramedics arrive, Sarah will support the woman with her contractions and, if needed, the birth.
Now, just in case the baby does come, okay, just before the ambulance gets there, we just want to get prepared, okay? So, is your partner there with you? Would they be able to get some dry towels and a small blanket, okay? I've had 3 deliveries, but they've all been really simple, just they've come on, she's in labour, the head's coming out, and then the baby comes out. So I've not had any complicated ones, but I've done 3 in the 3 years that I've been there. Now that help's been arranged for you. If you just take some slow, deep breaths in between each contraction, if anything changes, then tell me. Okay, I'll stay on the phone with you, all right? That's fine.
The contractions are now only 30 seconds apart.
Okay, right, if you need to push, then that's fine, okay? Each time that you feel you need to push, I just want you to reach down, okay, and just have a feel again, and just see if you can feel any part of the baby. But if you need to push, just push, okay? If she needs to push, the baby's already decided that the baby's coming out. So crossing your legs and holding the baby in, which a lot of people do because they're just too scared to do it, it's doing the baby more harm by not pushing when the baby thinks it's ready to come out. So when we advise to push and they feel they need to, they should. Do you know what you're having yet? Did you find out what you're having? It's all about keeping her calm so that when the baby comes out, depending on what the outcome of that is, that she's calm beforehand so she doesn't get too stressed and then stress the baby afterwards as well. You're doing really well. Just take some nice deep breaths. You're doing well. They're coming. Is your door unlocked at the house, just to check? Is your partner able to unlock the door for you, just to make sure? It's unlocked. Perfect. They'll just come straight in then, okay?
The ambulance arrives within 12 minutes of the 999 call.
Perfect. I'll stay on the phone just till they're right beside you, okay? We do advise to keep the door unlocked. They'll just chap and walk in, and it just makes everything smooth so that she's not lying on the bed trying to push and then she has to try and get up and get the door or whatever else. If the door's unlocked, she's lying down, she's ready for whatever happens, they'll just let themselves in and just walk in and just start from there. Is that them? Right, I'll leave you with them. You take care now. Good luck. You're welcome. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Was she all right?
Yeah, she was fine. To be fair, she waited to the last minute because she went, they're like 30 seconds apart, and usually foam minutes like 5-6 minutes. Just happens, eh? The baby decides when it's coming out, and if it's coming out, it's coming out. You're not going to be able to stop it, eh? I'll keep an eye on it, see if she shut it in the house. She probably will, to be fair. Ambulance, hi, please.
Near Dunfermline, Eileen has persuaded a vulnerable patient to go into hospital. But there's a problem.
Right, shall we put your coat on?
I've spoken to the consultant and it doesn't want a hospital admission, even with his legs like that.
You're joking me.
Nope, they're saying leave him here. If they speak to the GP, they'll need to come and see him, and he'll be admitted into a medical ward, because that's not acute. That's been long ongoing.
Right, George, change your plan, mate. They don't want you.
Have a seat.
Sorry,
have a seat there now, because I'll need to wait in this GP phoning. All right, because it's a different pathway that we're going to have to take.
I'll fully admit I was quite frustrated we couldn't take him into hospital, because I felt that was what he needed. I know he didn't need it immediately medically, but just for the sake, the man needed to be cared for, and I felt that I was worried he was going to fall back out of the system.
That's Dave speaking.
Davey is on the phone again, this time to a GP.
I phoned the consultant and I asked them just prior to you phoning. They're not overly that concerned about his legs, it's more about his abdominal. But what they've suggested is, if you go along with it, would be to have him admitted into a medical assessment unit. Yep. I mean, even if a district nurse came to view it, and then you can make a decision for there. OK then, have you any idea how long it will be before they arrive? Right, thanks, bye-bye.
Decision made. A district nurse will visit George later in the day.
In George's case, although his legs were swollen, I couldn't really find anything else wrong with him. It's care provisions that he needs. And unfortunately, when you go to A&E or medical units or surgical units, he doesn't fit any of the criteria.
Just do what they say and then get this all sorted. You'll be like a new man by the time you come back out. You'll be running around Cowdenbeath.
I'm going to do that.
Oh, you will. Trust me, you will. You just need to get all this sorted out, because all these things together is getting you down, isn't it? We are doing more and more like that, making them comfortable before we have to leave them, rather than take them into hospital. So personally, I don't have an issue. The job's not just about conveying patients, it's about caring for patients. Right, George, you take care.
Right, too.
All right, it's lovely meeting you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I hope he gets admitted tonight.
I hope so.
I just felt, I'd felt he'd been let down by the system. I just feel he'd been let down. No man should be left in that kind of state. It's just disgusting that somebody like that is living like that in this day and age.
You're all right this side.
He's obviously slipped through the net. He was just such a nice chap when you spoke to him. I just feel for the elderly. I really feel for them. They work all their lives and then get let down.
The M8 motorway, the main artery between Edinburgh and Glasgow.
There'll be a lot of traffic coming up to it.
Right, it's Saturday afternoon.
That's right, it's Saturday.
Lee and David are from the Eastern Special Operations Response Team, known as SORT. While Lee has been a paramedic for 20 years, David is a relative newcomer.
I literally had a midlife crisis. The wife wouldn't allow me to get a motorbike. I couldn't afford a sports car, so I became a paramedic. That's God's honest truth.
Attending around 6,500 calls per year, SORT paramedics handle the most serious and difficult to treat incidents.
We refer to it as the best job in the ambulance service. As a paramedic in division, you respond to patients, whereas as a paramedic in SORT, you respond to incidents.
So this is a 3-car RTC, and there's one car's hit the central reservation,
And in one of the vehicles, there's a pregnant female. That's the only information we've been passed so far.
If you're going to somebody who's pregnant, you've initially got 2 patients because you've got the mother and you've got the unborn baby. So yeah, you are extra cautious. Precious cargo.
And you would think the traffic would be starting to back up shortly.
Yeah,
Still 2.4 miles right now.
It's definitely on the M8.
And it's westbound, so we'll be heading
this
this
is
way.
it. Yeah, this is it.
See, when I started in a job, I couldn't get used to eastbound, northbound, westbound. And I would be like, can you just tell me what direction I'm heading?
I'm in the Glasgow or Edinburgh. I think for us on a motorway, taking into consideration there'll be backup, traffic backup, probably by a couple of miles at that time on a Saturday. The 2 lanes, like 1 and 2, if they're kind of full, then sometimes we can go under the hard shoulder and we can make up a bit of time there. Let's have a little look. Everyone's bolting off.
I've got a sensor coming off.
I'll take a hard shoulder. I'm gonna just try and get in.
Oh, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, this is chocker, isn't it? I bet you those folk are really regretting coming on at that slip.
Another SORT team is already on scene.
Only one patient's in the back of the ambulance here dealing with her. I'm just going to have a quick check round in the video. I don't believe there's any other patients involved, so we can stand down any other resources heading to this time of us.
Yeah, we're just arriving on scene.
So the girl that's in there, so she's pregnant.
So what car has she been in?
We were told it was a multiple patients and multiple vehicles. However, there was only one involved. And the patient was actually in the back of the ambulance and she appeared fine. However, the paramedics who were with her were going to fully assess her and then transport her to hospital.
We're the ones who are there, and was she just lone female in another ambulance, right?
Lee checks on the pregnant woman being treated inside the ambulance.
Hiya, how's it going? They want to make sure you're okay.
There was another vehicle that had been in front of the 2 vehicles that bumped, and they had stopped, and all 3 people in the car were quite upset. So I then took on the role of trying to console them. As much as I wasn't needed medically, I was there to provide emotional reassurance to them.
The woman in that car is really upset. She's just wanting to know why.
Aye, she's doing all right.
Can you reassure her a wee bit, I think?
How you doing?
So, minor.
Everyone's okay?
Yeah, so I think the person for the white car is the pregnant girl. She's in the back of the ambulance. I think she's all right.
Okay. Could have been worse?
Could have been a lot worse, yep.
Jumping.
Hey, are you trying to say I can't jump?
Did you see the second Top Gun?
Aye.
So we're trying to Tom Cruise.
He's wearing bloody well for his age, isn't he?
Yeah, why not? I don't know what I'm
Isn't
saying about it, yeah. Ah, he's hot.
In Dunfermline, Davy and Eileen are nearing the end of their shift.
This is a 62-year-old male who has phoned NHS 24 and is feeling sick, confused. He's had multiple falls, collapsed today in the house. He's also complaining of chest pain and palpitations, feeling feverish.
Well, it kind of covers everything, doesn't it?
Well, that covers the lot. There we go. What you get is very little information that you'll receive.
So you keep your mind open.
So you have to go in with a broad idea of what they're saying because sometimes it is nothing like what they say it is. Must be down here, your side, where that car would be.
Hiya.
So I'll need you to take your top and that off till I get some observations done on you. He was in bed when we got there. He says that he was having a lot of trouble with his ears. It was like being in a big wind tunnel idea. So you've got to work out all the different things that's actually going on.
But before Davy can begin his checks, the patient, William, is sure he already knows what's wrong.
I think it's the tablets that's causing it.
What tablets like?
Yeah. But I've not had them before.
William was prescribed new painkillers a few days earlier.
Right, you can put yourself right back.
If you
And
can.
up against the pillows. That puts you in a good position. There you go, brilliant.
Right. So the main bit is your back pain?
No, I'm feeling sick and my heart feeling was pounding.
Right. And is that only after you took that medication?
Like? I'm feeling sick and I'm just confused and I'm falling. I fell 6 times a day.
Right.
That's what's concerning me. I just feel rubbish.
What's your eyes like?
I was actually feeling alright until I took these tablets.
Right.
And I think it's the tablets that's done it.
It could very well be.
Side effects: feeling sick, feeling lightheaded, dizzy, nervous or fainting. Decrease in blood pressure, numbness and tingling to extremities, convulsions,
Is that
tremors.
what you're like? That's it. Well, as you're taking a
Confusion.
reaction to them then.
Hallucinations.
However, I'll need to get a GP to see what they want to do with you. When you read the side effects of that medication, he had every single one of them. However, you've got to be careful because you can't just stop it right away because then it will give you, there is withdrawal symptoms with them if you do that.
Once again, Davy is on the phone to a GP.
He's getting lightheaded, dizzy, felt as if he was getting palpitations, no passing urine a lot, felt a bit breathless. However, he's on a new medication. It's a painkiller, and basically all the side effects, that's what he has.
I think you've never had these before.
There's a lot of tablets I can't take.
Is there?
Aye.
This is obviously another one to your list then.
Aye.
So how many have you taken today?
None.
None today.
No.
I have very little access to a patient's medical records where the GP has them all. He can access everything. They've decided there the best way forward would be not to take the medication. Right, just as suspected, what you're saying is wrong with you is after effects with that drug. So he says, don't take any more, flush it out your system, continue to take your paracetamol, phone your GP tomorrow, and they'll get in touch.
I had a feeling it was that way.
Aye.
Oh, stop making noises at me.
Right, you.
Zebra.
No, it keeps me awake.
All right, gent. Okay then, no bother.
The Scottish Ambulance Service responds to over 1.5 million calls a year.
Ambulance emergency, is the patient breathing?
Call handlers based in South Queensferry, near Edinburgh, are the first point of contact in a medical emergency.
At the moment, when you're looking at him, is the patient still trying to take breath in and out? But if his condition does get worse...
Jackie is dealing with a panicked caller at the scene of an accident.
Right, has somebody lifted the forklift? Give me a wee second, stay on the line. They're trying to lift this forklift off this guy. Will I not move it?
No, they can't.
A person has been crushed by heavy machinery. It's the highest priority. The centre dispatches 8 medical crews, including trauma, and special operations, as well as police and fire service.
Okay, listen, can you leave the forklift where it is at the moment, all right?
We automatically would call in fire brigade and things as well, so that they have proper specialised equipment. Our sort teams also have specialised equipment to help lift that heavy machinery off the person. At that point we had one casualty, we could have had many more. So it's very much leave the scene as it is and let us deal with everything that's on scene.
Right, listen, is he still trapped? They've freed him. So what position is he in at the moment? Right, where about there is, he's not breathing, right, okay, so where about is he at the moment?
The person that called it in, she was very much my eyes on the scene, so as soon as she spotted that the patient wasn't breathing, I went straight down the route of CPR and gave her full instructions, and she was passing them on to a colleague beside her.
Right, listen carefully, I need everybody to listen. I want you to lay him flat on his back on the floor and lose anything from under his head. Right, so listen carefully, I'm going to tell you how to do chest compressions, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep doing that rhythm. Okay, they're all doing really well, all right? So just keep going at that rate of 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You could hear a lot of commotion in the background, and some of that is what we're trained in to listen to. And again, the person who was on the end of the phone speaking to me was very good in taking all that in and making sure that all the information was relayed back. So very much a lot of teamwork went on in a very, very stressful situation for them all, in a very distressing situation.
Tell me, as soon as the crew are with them, keep that CPR going. I'm going to just stay on the phone with you until they're right there by your side, okay? So you just keep doing these compressions over and over. You're all giving them the absolute best chance, all right? And I will still continue with that CPR, yeah, your colleague's still managing. That's good. Listen, you're all doing absolutely amazing. Is that them there with you? All right, listen, I'm going to let you all go and speak to the crew, all right? You all take care, you've done absolutely amazing, all right? Take care now, bye-bye.
I must say, when you come off the phone and the crew have arrived and the patient's in the hands of the crew and the person who called and everybody's there and around them, there is a certain amount of release that you have.
Well, there's that prime example of get everybody away, just make sure the one person's doing CPR and stay on the phone with me. Oh, she was terrified. Absolutely and utterly terrified.
We are able to do a debrief, we can talk through the case, you know, what was going well, how we felt about it. And often there's tears. You know, somebody could be losing their life, you've got people who are in traumatic situations. So sometimes there is the tears that will be there, but we're very, very well supported. And we can take that time out, debrief and get ourselves ready for the next again call.
Ambulance emergency, is the patient breathing?
In Dunfermline, Davy and Eileen are responding to a red-coded emergency.
Right, this is a red call that we're going to in a 60-year-old male who is having breathing difficulties. And that's all the information we have at the moment.
999 road activated.
There's different colour codes. Red call's one of the highest, which is an ILT, which is a life-threatening, immediate life-threatening call.
Trouble breathing is high priority and could be COVID-related.
No two ways about it, there's certainly a lot more COVID patients coming up, isn't there? Thank you.
We're still concerned because obviously there's still people losing their lives through COVID, but you've got to do it. You know, you can't walk away from the job just because of COVID. I'll park it here. Yeah.
Hey, Debbie.
It's here.
Yeah.
The patient, Nicholas, is waiting with his partner, Donna.
What's been happening to you, pal?
Took the dog out and brought her out Cheetah. Started doing a terrible tight. That's right.
And your chest?
Nicholas is already on heart medication. The crew must first check he's not having a heart attack.
So, tight and it's tight up there.
Right.
It's had a heart, which is ECG.
An ECG. And what did that come back as?
We don't know yet.
It's no come back.
An electrocardiogram, or ECG, checks the heart's rhythm and electrical activity.
Are you still got pain now?
No, I'm not pain, I feel lousy, really bad.
Just sit nice and still, innit? You know, your blood pressure's through the roof.
All right.
I'll do some around anyway.
Right, just try and relax the night. This is what you call unstable AF. It's going rather fast. Okay, so
Was it in the route?
you need to go in. Did they tell you what AF was?
Aye.
Atrial fibrillation. And what's happening is your heart it's what they're saying, it's missing a beat, but it's a bit unstable, so it's not regulating. So we need to regulate your heart rate. And then once his heart rate kind of gets back to normal, his blood pressure will come back down. Come on, and we'll make tracks out here.
Atrial fibrillation increases the risk of stroke and heart failure.
Doing this way. You all right, pal? You want me to bring the motor up?
And makes the simplest tasks difficult.
He gets this all the time.
Really out of breath like this? Even just walking a short distance like that?
But see, when he's sitting down, he's fine. But see, when he starts walking,
Here, this way, this way.
that's right. Look at me. Relax.
All right.
That's what it goes like. It gets all mucked up.
It's scary. It's scary.
That's what I'm saying.
See, it's calming down. It's just a balance table because it's jumping up and down, isn't it? That's fine. That's us.
Right.
After checking Nicholas's blood pressure, the crew leave for hospital.
That's us ready to go.
At East Sort Base outside Edinburgh, paramedics Lee and David are called to reports of a fire.
Yes, that's perfect. No worries at all. Get out.
Roger.
The fire's at a young offenders institute in the village of Polmont.
The potential in a prison, if there's a fire, there's hundreds of inmates in a prison, so it could potentially turn into a major incident.
So there's smoke being seen coming from a cell.
Right.
So because it's a highly populated area, there's 3 fire pumps attending and a height appliance for the fire service.
Fire service will normally be in attendance before we get there, and they've normally been able to kind of update us with the severity or not.
So this is the village I grew up in.
Is it?
Yep.
Where?
And this wee street down to the right is where I stayed.
Was it?
Se-
Oh, right, yeah. I
the
see
second one on
the great pebble dashing. Yeah. Lee lived here. It's the same. There's a blue plaque on it.
So that prison is in the village that I grew up in, spent all my life in. So I'm familiar with the surroundings of it, familiar with the entry and exit points. And that particular prison houses young offenders, so it's teenagers up to sort of young adults.
On scene, they're updated by East Sort paramedic Kevin.
They've got a appliance inside the prison at the moment. There's no report of any kind of fire or smoke or anything. It's just a false alarm within the prison.
So we'll just tootle back.
Yep.
Being stood down gives Lee the opportunity to continue the guided tour.
See that there? It's a Grange Centre, the youth club. My brother was the DJ in there. That, honestly, Monday and a Thursday night and then a Saturday night from this.
Up to the disco.
It was great.
Oh, here we go.
Before Lee can complete the tour, they receive a report of a potentially serious incident. A chemical has been sprayed in a flat in Edinburgh, but the details are unclear.
Always comes through sketchy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
These types of things come through sketchy information and then more develops. And that can either develop by whoever's on scene finding out more and then that information making its way back to us.
But certainly jobs involving chemicals, you can't downplay it. If anything, you upscale it initially, and then as the story can transpire, you can then start to downgrade stuff. I think the fire service and the police really need to be informed.
With the police setting up an inner cordon, we're set up with particular kind of PPE and training on chemical incidents or hazmat kind of incidents as well. And we can work within that inner cordon.
Right, and tell them not to go in the house. Just as long as they stay outside with the guy, they'll be fine. Okay. Cheers. Cheers, bye.
Special operations response teams are trained to handle complex cases like this one. But incidents involving chemicals can be among the most dangerous jobs they take on. Davy and Eileen are taking Nicholas to hospital. He has high blood pressure and an irregular heartbeat.
This is us just coming into the hospital, so you'll wait here. I'll go in and speak to the doctors and that, because I don't care what the hospital's like, because sometimes there can be a bit of a wait.
There's only one ambulance ahead of them, and so Davy is hopeful Nicholas can be admitted soon.
Right, there's a wee bit of a wait, but no be long, and then they're going to give me a shout. Right. So you just sit there wired up, okay, and I'll come back and see you in a couple of minutes. All right?
Unfortunately, there was no beds anywhere in A&E. This gentleman was stable enough for us to keep him in the back of the ambulance. Obviously, one of the consultants came out and would check on patients every now and then and reprioritise if need be.
More ambulances have arrived and are queuing with patients inside.
Right. Put that mask on, bud, and we'll get you into the toilet and then bring you back. And just after COVID, it all kind of started. I think it came down to the demand that people go to hospital.
Wait times are worse than ever. In 2022, only 70% of A&E patients were seen within the target of 4 hours.
Hi, Nevada. In an ambulance for 2.5 hours. Wait, what hospital was
Kirkcaldy.
Aye. We've been in an ambulance for 2.5 hours. Nearly 3 hours. Aye, he's alright. What else? He's got a normal heart rate. He's missing a beat. And Kenny gets these funny tongues.
9 ambulances. 9 ambulances are here, and I've been here since 10:30 this morning, and I've been told that there's still no beds at the Victoria, and they can't give me a time. It could be another few hours.
I'm feeling cold.
He's feeling cold. He's sat here for hours now, and he should actually be seen to by now. No matter what, he come in an ambulance for a reason. As I said, he's got a problem, he's got a heart problem, and that's the worst thing to have. And he should have been seen to by now.
It's terrible for the patient to sit in an ambulance for 4 and 5 hours at a time. It's
not acceptable.
Unacceptable.
It is very frustrating because you know there's people out there that are still needing ambulances, and we're all stacked up at the hospital with patients.
Right, sir. Good news is we now have a space for you. At last.
At last.
Right, here we go.
Let's go.
Yippee.
Say goodbye.
I'll be sending you a Christmas cake if you're in that motor that long.
After nearly 5 hours, Nicholas is finally admitted and will have his heart condition further investigated.
And that's that patient just been taken in from 10:30 this morning, and it's now 3:15 in the afternoon. And as you'll probably see here, there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ambulances that's still sitting waiting. So I don't know how long they're going to be.
It's not fair on the hospital staff, relatives. Yeah, it's wrong. It's all wrong.
I agree.
SORT paramedics Lee and David are en route to a reported release of chemicals at a flat in Edinburgh. They know they have one patient, but details are still unclear.
So what's the symptoms? Kind of headache and stuff,
Sore
is it?
head and a sore back.
Don't know about the sore back.
The back's can't have anything to do with it. The head, Jay.
So in this instance, this chap stayed in a block of flats. So there's a potential there that if he's harmed with a chemical, then so might all the rest of the people within that building.
Oh, here, they've got 2 appliances at this.
So we had to ascertain if it in fact was a chemical. Was he contaminated with it? And then what are the risks to everybody else within the building?
The patients told them a chemical substance has been sprayed through his letterbox.
You get pain in your chest when you take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, it's all
He looked well. He didn't look like he had any contamination on his clothes, certainly nothing visible to us.
But the crew take the potential for contaminants seriously and ensure other crew members' safety in case of exposure.
I just need to give them some information about removing some of his clothes if they want, but we're quite happy for him to go in the ambulance, okay? So you know what to do if you start becoming symptomatic. It's probably coming from him, but as I say, we've kind of assessed it to be incredibly low risk.
Yeah.
We basically can give specialist advice when it comes to chemicals. Not the nature of the chemical, but what to do if you're soiled with a noxious substance. So we're not just there in terms of kind of supporting the kind of the patient, but it would be for the divisional crew or other members of staff. The crew are happy for them to go in the back. Cool. Want me to do a lift?
You were on your feet?
Take your time. Take your time. Just follow me, right?
Once the patient is fully assessed, SORT crew will update their colleagues and the fire service.
But as discussed, it's probably fueled by a raging temperature.
Think you'll be taking him away, or?
He'll be going to hospital, aye, because he's definitely got some kind of infection or something going on. He's got a high temperature and his pulse is really high.
The fire service send in their specialist chemical testing unit, known as the DIM unit, or Detection, Identification and Monitoring, to sweep the flat.
And that's a van that they have set up. It's like a lab or a laboratory in the back of a van, and they can test for kind of any substances, which are chemical, biological, or radiological.
Go ahead, please, stand over.
Hi, just an update for scene. So the fire service have been in with their DIM and their hazmat, and they have checked for any substances. They can't find any trace. However, we are still concerned about the patient, so they will be travelling up by the ambulance to Edinburgh Royal.
That's all received. Many thanks for that update and thanks for your assistance. Over.
Cheers.
We have an 82-year-old female with breathing difficulties.
Davy and Eileen are heading to West Fife. They're going to Blair Hall, one of many former mining villages in this part of the country.
Thank you, dear.
We are very short-staffed across the board today. Approximately 3/4 full.
Crew's short.
Crew's short in every division. Please be patient with us, but have a good day. I'm sure we will. Well, the 2 cars are parked.
What's all the bunting out for? Are they expecting us?
It's gala day in Blair Hall.
You shouldn't have.
Patient Susie's long-standing breathing problems have worsened.
It's a COPD. It's just, I'm just to get x-rayed and see what else can be.
Well, I'll give you a wee.
Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, restricting breathing. We get a lot of COPD patients, don't we?
Yeah, you do, yeah.
A lot of COPD, obviously from working in the mines. And also a lot of the factories maybe working with asbestos as well. That's the other thing.
You get asbestosis.
Yeah, that's the other thing we get quite a bit.
She's had a nebuliser in her this morning.
Right. So you're being nebulised already.
A nebulizer allows a patient to inhale medication to clear their airways or treat an infection.
So you're not going to dance tonight, will you?
No. I'll not be going to dancing for a long while.
No, I know. Well, somebody's been out to see you.
Doctors.
The doctors?
Right, I shall go and get a chair.
Susie's blood oxygen levels are also low.
Hey, my doll.
My phone's in the pocket.
She'll need to be taken to hospital by the crew.
How's that?
That's fine.
Her family had said it had been an ongoing issue for quite a while. And it had gotten to the point where she was so severe she had to go into hospital now. And I'm actually going to put this up over your head because it's just started chucking down with rain.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, I look like a proper patient.
But Susie's just one of many in her generation, trying hard not to be a burden.
First question we used to ask them is, how are you doing? And they'll say, I'm all right. And I say, well, why am I here then?
Yeah.
And they would laugh, you know. And they would say, no, I'm fine. And you're going, well, you're not really. Right, you put your feet down on the ground there, though. Right, there we are.
Well done.
Right round.
1, 2, 3. There you go. They never want to put anybody out. They're hardcore in Fife. The old ones, they just they can fight on and fight on. And that's when we eventually get called.
Yeah.
Hi,
Fine then. Thank you. The band's coming during the village.
Oh, is it the gala?
Aye.
Oh, I can hear the pipes.
We've even got entertainment for you.
Oh, look at the horses.
Are you guys on a emergency or
Well, we can wait, we can wait. It was on the day of the local gala, so she got to see a little bit of it before we left.
Once the gala parade is past, the crew make the short journey to hospital in Kirkcaldy.
Right, what I'll do then is I'll go over to the unit, all right? And I'll come back and see you. It'll be a couple of minutes, I shouldn't be too long.
Rather than you sitting in a hallway, we'll just sit you in here just now. How long you been in Blair Hall?
Oh, nearly all my life.
Have you?
Brought all my family out in Blair Hall.
Did you? What did you do?
I worked in the pit canteens.
Did you? Did you enjoy it there? Good atmosphere.
I liked the pit.
Yeah.
I liked the vet working with your miners.
Yeah, miners are a good bunch, aren't they? Bit hardcore, but they're a good bunch. I think a lot of people, they like to give their stories, and when they do incline to open up to you, aren't they? When you get to spend a bit of time. That's the good thing about working in Fife. You get to spend a bit of time with your patients. Was your hubby a pit man? Was he? What pit did he work in?
Castle Hall.
And what about your boys?
One was in Castle Hall with a few little one was in Salzgill.
Oh, you were in Salzgill? Oh, wow. Keep it in the family.
Right, all they've got left is a bay with a chair in it.
Aye, I suppose so.
Would that be all right?
Aye.
And we'll take you in.
She was the canteen lady in the local mine her whole life. She'd never worked anywhere else. Have you got you got all the paperwork, Dave?
Aye, it's on.
The whole family had been miners or working in the mining community.
Get up that back there and give it
So she was an interesting lady, interesting family.